Welcome, everybody, to our new topics for today. So, we are now on Module 2, Lesson 2 in our course, or you can check our syllabus. It's there. So, it is now the topic we're going to have is all about can psychological factors play a role in the moral development of individuals? So, if ever psychological factors play a role or contribute to our moral development, then in what way and how? So this explains why we have to take this up. It's very important indeed. Now, to begin with, so we have our outcomes, our main learning outcome for today. That, that at the end of this course or after studying this, you will be able to articulate or at least recognize how our moral judgments are also influenced or modified as we grow older or as we mature. So in the first place, we tried to open this course with the Heinz dilemma. Actually, this one, we have the Cebuano uh, counterpart of this. It says, nga naitaw, ganahan kay siya sa mangga. Unya, kaso, wa si kwarta. Adi minus pa sa kwarta. So, iyang, dito siya tag-iya sa mangga, ni ingon siya nga, iyang pangayuon ang mangga, kay ganahan siya. Ganahan niyang asawa kay nagbuntis. Mato patigis mangga, di man ako ibaligya. Ingon na yun ang itong tao. Ako na lang paliton, tagpila man ang kilo. Ingon po ang tag-iya sa mangga, di man ako ibaligya. So, kung pangayoon, dili ihatag. Kung paliton, dili sa ibaligya. So, unsay gibuhat sa atong tao, di iyang gikawat. So, is the action justifiable? So, parihan natin, okay? So, first, we have here, we have already defined prior about what the different concepts of moral development. Now, in this particular concept, there was most of the time the prevailing idea that the child learns through imposition, through teach-ins. Very basic understanding that our concept of our concept of what is good or bad is being influenced or brought to us on things that has been bombarded in our minds. So that's why we learn through impositions. So according to Piaget rejected that idea and pointed out that it is not so that we learn and internalize the rules and morals of society imposed on us. We learn through society, we learn through others. That is why the point of contention here is the process of socialization. That is, it includes our exposure to various stimulus, such as your education. By the way, we are not talking here of formal education only. It can be called non-formal education, informal education, or the way we are exposed to different social stimuli. That also the ones that we learn from our peers, from your friends, by attendance to our religion, and by accepting some of the religious tenets. Then we have the social controls, educational controls, some political controls, etc. So, according to Piaget, that there is a process by which we conform to society's norms. There is a process. So, that's why we call it socialization. Or there is a process of moralization, if you want to. As long as this process, we were introduced to one of the what we know of what is right and wrong, rather than we are passive in our learning. We are active learners in this particular process. So, in this context, Kohlberg tested the theories and come up with the so-called the different levels of psychological development. Now, and these stages, the difference from this stage to the other stage, is not uh, placed on age or we call this chronological factors, but rather on the differentials of cognitive development. So, first and foremost, we have the pre-conventional moral development. I would invite you to, if the stage here above. So, what is pre-conventional moral development? So, there are two stages. One is about obedience to the rules. Moral decisions are based on our obedience to the rules. Stage one. It is good because I obeyed the rules. It is good because I followed the rules. I did not commit jaywalking. I won't commit jaywalking because I'm going to obey the rules of for the traffic. No entry, no trespassing. I obey those rules. So therefore, that is under stage one. So for us, there are some people who are very convenient in following rules. Not only simple rules, but even if it's so-called in the workplace, you will be made to observe the rules. Not because you are good, but because you are good because you obey the rules. You obey the policy of the school. You go to you go to school. You wear uniform. Your uniform because the rule says wear the uniform. Wear your ID and proper uniform in coming to school. Plain and simple. Do not cheat. Why? Because the rule says do not cheat. Not because you are good, but because you obey the rules. Stage two. This stage now is about self reward. You obey the rules because you want to be rewarded. So, moral decisions are based on getting a reward that is personally meaningful to me. So, you want to be recognized as such. So, a child obey the rules, so there is a reward. A dog obey the rules, so the dog gets the treats. Don't follow, then you have punishment. Okay? So it's about reward and punishment. You want to be good because there is heaven. You do not want to be bad because there is hell. So we have heaven and hell. So that is under level one. So according to according to Kohlberg, this is the least level of our development. So it doesn't mean that at least then I'm bad. No, it's just what we call our thinking, our moral decisions are just based on those levels. So you help people because you want to have the reward. What's the reward? Facebook, social media, etc. So on and so forth. So you give some amount of money, you give all these projects, then you are being photographed and put your names are placed there on newspapers and some other forms of media, then that's the reward. Okay? So let's suspend our decision, our judgment on this, as long as that's with stage two. Now, on the conventional level, that is what I call the conventional plane. Stage three, good boy, nice girl orientation. We love to have the pat on the back, the pat. You're a good boy. You obey the rules. You're a good boy. So even children wants approval or disapproval of our action. We place the emphasis on how people would see our action. So you're a good boy. You want to finish your degree because of this appreciation by society, by your friends, by your relatives, by your parents. That my son, that my daughter is good because he was able to finish his course with flying colors. So the person is bad because he failed to obey or to come up with the expectations of him. So good boy, nice girl orientation is placed on so-called expectation. We have the so-called the certificate of appreciation. We love to have certificates of appreciation, certificate of participation, even if we have done nothing, as long as we have this certificate of appreciation. We want to attend trainings and seminars, not because we learned something, but because of this certificate that we love to show to our friends that we have attended this seminar. Then it counts to your resume that you are a good boy, that you are a nice girl, etc., so on and so forth. Now on stage four, so there is again, this is now the high order. We try to follow now the law and order orientation. This is now more or less this. There is the social dimension of the act that we blindly accept rules and conventions. We blindly accept rules and convention because we believe that by maintaining so, we continue the function of society. Why do we have to practice um, or punish jaywalking if in your area there are no rules for jaywalking? Let's say at 12 o'clock midnight, you are alone in the street. No cars would cross on a particular area at that hour, and then you try to look at your right and your left, no other car, but the traffic light says stop for pedestrian. Would you cross the street? Because of law and order orientation, we will not cross the street because the rule says only uh, go for the pedestrians that we are going to cross the street. If it's green, if it's go for the pedestrians, then cross the streets. If it's stop for the pedestrian, then do not cross the street, regardless of regardless of time. Okay, so it is as if now in this context we would say that rules are not anymore made for society, but rather the opposite, that society are made for the rules. But nevertheless, you are good because you follow the law of society. Now, on the post-conventional level, this is now where we would say the highest form of ethical of moral development. Now, accordingly, that's why I have here the picture of Mahatma Gandhi, that that people believe that some laws are unjust and should be changed or eliminated. That realization, believe that there are laws that are unjust. So that's why if prior before we have the social legislations, to be pregnant while you are covered by your contract is considered a breach of contract because you break your contract there is yeah, because it is cut because of your so-called maternity leaves prior to laws on maternity leaves. There's no it should be continuous a year's service. So because of this realization that there are unjust laws, that's why you have to change it. But it takes only this level to understand that these rules, that these laws are unjust. So that's why if we're going to continue to read, this growing realization that individuals are separate entities from society. So individuals and society are different. That individuals can disobey rules inconsistent with their principle. That is why we have this called the non-violence principle. Okay, so again, two stages. We have the stage 5 and stage 6. Stage 5, this is what we call the social contract orientation. Social contract that our existence, our membership in society is being governed by that contract. And that's why regardless of the differing opinions, the differing rights and values, and our perceptions of what is good or right, we have to mutually respect each other or each person being a member of the community. And in this context, laws are regarded as social contracts rather than rigid edicts. So we will not anymore think about applying the rules or applying the law. It is more of respecting. I'm going to respect the other individual. I will not do this because it will harm you. Do not do that because it will also harm me. Where others are, where by looking into the welfare of others, my freedom of action is being limited. So my limit is uh, is placed on the context of your own exercise of your own individuality. So I could. That's why you are the limit of my freedom. We would say. So differing opinions and mutual respect. And then finally, on this stage 6. So this is the universal ethical principle orientation. So it says here that laws become valid or anything that regulates our behavior is valid insofar as they are founded in justice and commitment to justice. And in obeying and in promoting this principle, we have also an obligation to disobey unjust laws. So, who among us are ready to accept the universal ethical principle orientation? Laws are valid if they are grounded in justice and a commitment to justice. And in the promotion of this principle, we had an obligation to disobey unjust laws. Okay, so to summarize, so this is now we have here the table. So we have on the levels, we have the 3 levels: pre-conventional, conventional, and the post-conventional levels. Then we have the stages. So the pre-conventional level has 2 stages: obedience and self-interest. The conventional has the conformity and law-abiding stages. And then the post-conventional, you have the social contract and the universal ethic principle or stage. So with this, thank you for listening to this short lecture. And we have our reference. If you want to, you can Google it in our uh, into search this in Google, then you can find all the things or all the information that you need to. So I think that's all for now, and thank you for watching and listening. Bye bye.